welcome to a very special episode of Queensland Weekender. For the next 2 weeks, I'll be journeying through the heart of Queensland on a road trip to some of the Outback's very best events. But this is a trip like no other. I'll be catching up with a few of the colourful locals to experience this beautiful part of the world through their eyes.
I'll introduce you to the people, the places and the parties that you'll only find out this way. Our ultimate Outback road trip will take in the best of the West, with a quintessential country camp draft and rodeo in Bedourie,
Look at him go! Yeah!
the world's most remote music festival, the Birdsville Big Red Bash, the quirkiness of the Bedourie camel and pig races,
Oh my God!
along with the charm of the country towns and the characters along the way. We're starting in Winton, 2 hours west of Longreach, and home to acclaimed landscape and country music photographer, John Elliott. He's supremely passionate about the Outback, loves sharing stories, and especially loves showing off his town.
Well, here we go. When you step through that door, you're going to see one of my favourite parts of Winton.
Oh, John.
Isn't this amazing?
This is unreal.
It's incredible.
The 100-year-old Royal Open Air Theatre is one of the last of its kind in Australia.
John, it's like stepping back in time, isn't it?
Really is incredible.
You can watch the stars on the screen and the stars in the sky.
Incredible.
Tonight is a very special live orchestra performance, celebrating 100 years of cinema in Winton. It kicks off celebrations for Winton's annual Vision Splendid Outback Film Festival.
Well, this is the 5th year, and this is the biggest Outback Film Festival in the world. And it's also the biggest Australian film festival in Australia.
Held over 10 days in July, it's a celebration of movie making in the Outback.
There was a number of films made in the area, and we wanted to showcase Winton and the Shire as a filmmaking destination. It's a great place to make films, and it's a film-friendly town. And then we thought, well, what's the best way to do it? It's to highlight the film culture around here, showcase the films that have been screened here before, and then show off some of Australia's best landscape and outback films, and then it kind of grew from there.
Right from the early days of settlement, the outdoors in Australia has inspired painters, poets, novelists, but it's the real open landscape here in Western Queensland that has acted as a magnet and drawn filmmakers to this area.
Winton is known as the Hollywood of the Outback and has been the scene for blockbusters like Goldstone and The Proposition.
Sam, you're out on Kamara. Filmmakers came here back in 2005 and built a whole Australian town from the 1800s, built it right here. You can sort of understand why, because it looks so bleak. This was the butcher shop in The Proposition. I don't know why, but all of the other sets have disappeared and fallen over and have been taken away. This was the butcher shop and it's still standing, although just standing.
Just, we better not lean on it.
No. It was really that movie that started the whole film industry here in Winton.
While Kamara Station sets the scene, the true stories come from the real stars of the Outback, farmers like Pip Flower. I've never heard someone sum up life on the land so perfectly.
Obviously the scenery is just breathtaking. Every time you stop and look at something, you just get blown away. But I think it's more to do with living in the present. So you're enjoying every single moment of life and what you're doing right there and then. If you can do a task and complete it and do it well, you just feel good. And I think it's a great way to be.
After the break, we get another glimpse at the reality of life in the Outback.
It's not really a job for the faint-hearted or just think you're going to go driving. It sounds romantic, she's real.
Then we hit the road west to Middleton to visit a man you've got to meet at the pub in the middle of nowhere.
That's beautiful. Well done, I love that poem.
It's sunrise just outside Winton. We're heading further west, and it could be a scene from a modern-day Banjo Paterson poem.
My name's Ronnie Creevy. I'm a cattle drover. third, fourth generation cattle drover.
Ronnie and his crew of 3 men are pushing 1,400 head of cattle, 1,500 kilometres from a drought-stricken station in Richmond to better grazing lands in Roma.
A lot of people wouldn't think that droving still occurs, but it's still strong in the bush, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. A lot of people think droving went out 80 years ago, but it hasn't. It's strong. And even now, with the dry time, cattle coming out of the south, there's thousands of cattle walking around. People just don't realise it. If you put them on a truck and truck them, they're there within 24, 48 hours. But the way we're doing it, they're there 6, 7 months' time. So it's another paddock as well as transportation. You keep your cattle fat, and that's the idea of it. But I have had a mob for 12 months, and like always with droving, there's no days off. Like, you go 12 months, you go 12 months. It's around 65 days. And if cattle are playing up, well, you work the nights too. Yeah, it's not really a job for the faint-hearted or just think you're going to go droving. It sounds romantic, she's real. Yeah.
I'm following the stock route west to Boolyah, a 4.5-hour drive away. It's pretty much a rite of passage for Queenslanders, the quintessential road trip. The best way to do it is leave plans a little bit open, see where the journey takes you. With our Winnebago caravan in tow, we're enjoying the freedom of the open road and taking in some spectacular country. Along with drovers and stock, these routes were travelled by Cobb & Co coaches. And you'll find an original 1876 changing station in the town of Middleton, 2 hours west of Winton. The Middleton Hotel used to be where tired horses were swapped over for fresh ones. Now it's where weary travellers stop and refresh. This is one of Queensland's most isolated pubs, but I tell you what, it's worth the journey to have a yarn with the publican.
I've had a bit of a go at writing poetry and it didn't do any good, see? So I give it away. It just goes to prove the old saying that if at first you don't succeed, maybe failure she's meant to be.
Meet Lester, ex-ringer, camellia, publican and retired bush poet. Can you tell us a poem?
I'm not over impressed when they call me a hick. I don't suppose it matters much as long as it gives them a kick. At least that's better than taking dope or smoking junk. Huh, they even call a handsome bloke a spunk.
Middleton has a population of just 3. That's Lester, his wife Val and daughter Karina.
It's not named Middleton because it's in the middle of nowhere, which is what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare survivors, I guess. I guess it's iconic in ways. People have got it on their bucket list.
Yeah.
And for me, it's home.
After the break, I meet a few more good people 200 k's away in Boolyah. Then we continue on to Bedourie and up the action at a classic country camp draft and rodeo. There are a lot of bush yarns and country legends out here in Channel Country, but the town of Boolyah's got a beauty.
I've seen the min-min, and a bloody hairy thing it was too, pardon my Francais.
The town's Min Min Encounter is a 45-minute animatronics show that brings bush characters to life, with tales of the eerie ball of light that follows unsuspecting travellers.
Until someone catches the min-min, we'll never know what it is.
There are a few theories. Some say it's fluorescent gases released from the barren earth, or clouds of fireflies. Maybe it's a UFO, or perhaps something more sinister.
You don't go looking for the min-min. The min-min goes looking for you.
From mystery to history, the town of Boolyah has many stories to tell. Boolyah is the halfway point between Winton and Bedourie on my road trip to Birdsville. And the Heritage Centre in town is the place to learn about its past. Deputy Mayor Beck Britton is among the proud locals. You've got to love a Deputy Mayor that wears her Ugg boots. I love it.
I do love my Ugg boots. Winter uniform.
The centre brings history to life, from farm relics and old machinery to ancient residents that roamed this land millions of years ago.
That is one amazing fossil. Check out the detail in that eye.
These marine reptile fossils are said to be some of the best specimens in the world, and they were found on properties nearby.
It's so crazy to think that these giant marine dinosaurs were swimming around right here in Boulia. Now the closest ocean is a 12-hour drive away, but millions of years ago, this was actually an inland sea.
Knowing the past gives me a new appreciation for the drive through this ancient landscape. And I'm not the only one enjoying the journey. The Boulia Caravan Park is booming, with convoys bound for the Birdsville Big Red Bash. Like Linda and Andrew from Brisbane, who followed the same event road trip as me, from Winton to Middleton and now here.
Tomorrow morning we'll head off and head to Baduri.
Yep, well, we'll see you there as well.
The rodeo there tomorrow night.
Yep, which we've done that before,
then,
and that was great last time.
yeah.
So we planned, scheduled our trip to make sure we go again. So,
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What is it that you guys love about life on the road?
Just meeting lots of different people, and yeah, just you see so much more, I think, when you're stopping and you're actually sitting out in nature and walking around instead of sitting in a hotel room. So yeah, it's good, we love it.
It's going to be a busy few days ahead, so this is a nice spot to relax on the banks of the Burke River. There are cabins on offer, fabulous facilities for caravans, and a wonderful host, Darren, who's also the local copper.
I used to be on the Gold Coast, and if you'd asked me, 7 years ago, Darren, where will you be? I could never have said, in Boulia. But you know what? There's something about it. It really is a beautiful place. It's a different kind of beauty. You don't need to have water with the sand. I mean, the sand is just beautiful even without the water. Big sky country here, that's what we call it. It's the serenity, it's the peaceful nature here. We love it, and that's why people come to see it.
I'm going to savour this moment of serenity because after the break, I'll meet you another 200 kilometres south in Baduri for a traditional camp draft and rodeo.
Welcome back to Queensland Weekender. Well, I've made my way to Baduri on the edge of the Simpson Desert to witness some of the very finest horsemanship in the outback.
Camp drafting, a truly Australian sport, a test between horse rider and beast.
The annual Baduri Camp Draft, Rodeo and Gymkhana is a 2-day event that celebrates traditional bush sport.
It's just how we got to have fun out here. That's the only sports that the kids out here. We can't go to football or soccer or anything else. This is what we do.
Well done, high five!
The Camp Draft attracts competitors from nearby stations who come together to test their horsemanship skills.
Wowza, that's impressive. Laura, you've camp drafted all your life and you're a judge today. Talk me through how it works.
When you ride into the cutout yard, there are usually around 8 head of cows. So you select your cow. The object is to hold it out from the herd for 3 or 4 blocks, whatever you and your horse are capable of. And then you call for the gate.
17 in the camp.
I always say there's 4 brains at work camp drafting. The cow, the horse, you and the judge.
Camp drafting is one of the few uniquely Australian sports, and it's an outback tradition.
This little club out here in Baduri has been running camp drafts and Gymkhana unbroken since about 1974.
Bibi Mans is the head stockman at nearby Glengyle Station, and to her, this event is more than a competition.
To be honest, camp drafting's sort of like, it's a way that we celebrate what we do every day at work, because we chase cattle obviously, we ride our horses and we get them going.
Bibi Mans in the camp. Riding squirt.
It's a bit of a gamble really with camp drafting. You got to control a horse and a beast and your own mind at the same time. But it's so much fun and it's really rewarding because they're your horses and you made them how they are, so something to be proud of, I think.
Absolutely, and such an eye-opener coming to an event like this. You know, this is your everyday life.
Yeah.
So different to what a lot of people experience.
Yeah, a lot of people in the city have no idea what goes on and how everything works and the way that people can communicate with animals. They really love it. They always tell you they never knew it was like this, and yeah, they think it's really amazing, I think.
And just as the day's entertainment's winding down, the night entertainment's ramping up.
Oh, look at him go! Yeehaw!
What do you feel when you're out there?
Oh, I don't know, just hang on.
Hold on. Hold on for dear life.
Yeah, the
and
ground
hurts. The ground hurts, I love it. Why do you do it?
Just for the adrenaline and to beat the boys.
Nothing like some good old-fashioned fun to round out a cracking day in the country. While events draw visitors to town, it's the people that leave the biggest impression.
Hello, Colgate.
G'day.
Sammy, nice to
G'day,
meet
Sammy.
you. How
Nice to
are
meet
you?
This bloke goes by the name Colgate. I'll let you figure out why.
Got a good set of chompers on you.
Well used.
Colgate's a Bedourie local of 40 years, and he's the president of the golf club. Yep, that's right, there's a 9-hole golf course. Well, kinda.
Original clubhouse over there, Sam.
What, the sink?
The sink, yeah.
I love that. So as president of the golf club, what was your role?
Keeping that sink clean.
Top job.
Easy job.
All right, I think I'm going to take the Pumbaa
Yeah.
stick.
Take the Pumbaa stick. Whoop. Yes. Great shot.
I think I'm making the cameraman very nervous.
Make a good coach, don't I, Sammy?
Yeah, you make a bloody good coach. That was a good hit.
You watch Pumbaa's eyes bulge now.
Collie tells me that anyone's welcome to have a swing and say g'day. The visitor centre will loan you some clubs for a refundable deposit.
So anyone that comes to town can play on the course, basically for free?
Yeah. So we encourage them to have a go. So, yeah.
Awesome. Do
Yeah.
you reckon it's the best sand course in Queensland?
I think so.
I
Bit
think
biased.
so too.
It sure is a fun way to spend an arvo, even with my skill level.
Oh, well done.
After playing around, you can relax in Bedourie's artesian pools and hot spa, or enjoy a coldie at the Bedourie Hotel.
Nice to meet you, Jim. How are you?
Sammy? Yeah, I'm pretty well, thanks. Welcome to the Bedourie Hotel.
The Bedourie Hotel's been wetting whistles since 1886, and it's famous for whiskey.
And this is whiskey.
Hello, whiskey. Hello, you're much better than real whiskey.
He's the most photographed dog in Australia, I think. Everyone's taken photos of him.
See why?
While he doesn't have a dog, Doug Coombs is the man to see about everything else. He runs the Simpson Desert Oasis down the road, the go-to for everything from fuel to food, beers, even a bed for the night. He's a mate of Colgate's, and the fellas are showing me a typical arvo on their favourite waterhole.
Crack a little spot. It's beautiful.
Used to be a secret spot.
Not anymore. All right, let's pull him out.
We're hoping for some fresh red claw for dinner.
What do you?
Beautiful.
Hey.
How's that? Woohoo! He's saying hi.
He's saying help, not hi.
Oh,
there's a good
come
one.
on.
There's a good one. There's a good one. That's what we're looking for.
Nice.
He's a pearl of this fella. Look at that.
Thought he was big.
When it comes to cooking them, it's like life. Doug and Collie reckon simple is best.
Collie, what a beautiful way to end the afternoon. This is really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, relaxing, having a beer, and we love, for everyone to come out and experience this, what's here. Nature's beautiful, so free, such a beautiful part of the world, and we live here and we like to share it. So.
It's been an incredible week on the road. We've experienced real country life, driven through some spectacular landscapes, and met some beautiful people who have definitely left an imprint. Check out the blog on the Queensland Weekender website, where we'll have an itinerary so you can recreate the adventure for yourself. Jump on Facebook and Instagram for some behind-the-scenes fun. And for more inspiration, check out queensland.com and the Queensland Rail Travel website.
Well, what a beautiful way to end a week on the road in the outback with such an authentic country experience. But it's not over yet. Join me next week for part 2 of my adventure, and I'll see you boys at the camel races next week. Cheers. Cheers, Kelly.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, Duck.